And that's the thing, guys. Like, you're gonna be in a situation, right? You're gonna be staring at the ceiling, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck am I doing? I'm running out of money. I don't know how I'm gonna pay the bills next month." All those types of things, and you gotta remind yourself of the original thesis and the passion. You gotta really find something that you're willing to die for.
Welcome to Hustle Share, the podcast that features the daily grinds of unique hustlers around the world to show not our differences, but that our hustles are very much alike. Now here's your host, Ronster Bae-Yong.
Welcome to episode 23 of the Hustle Share podcast. My name is Ronster, and I'm your host. And this episode is brought to you by Payroll Hero, a time, attendance, scheduling, HR, and payroll solution for Philippine companies. If you are new to the show, we're glad to have you here. Hustle Share basically is a Filipino podcast that features unique hustlers like tech entrepreneurs, businessmen, and any unique hustler really that has so much value to give. Because what we learn from each other here is not just what we post on social media to one-up each other. We talk about the grit, the grind, and everything else in between so that we can apply it in our own hustle as well. However, this podcast is for adults only, so make sure there's no kids or you're not in a not safe for work environment because you might hear a lot of flying F-bombs, especially in this really OG episode that we have here. Because we have a very, very interesting hustler on this episode who is none other than Roland Ross, the founder of the social media app Kumu. And today, Roland's going to share with us a ton of learnings of how he started his hustle as a philam growing up in LA and how he transformed what he called was 15 years of failing to an app that is so successful now that it is a staple among Gen Z and young millennials. Roland is also going to share how he got into the startup game by having Dado Banatao as his mentor. And he's also going to share the 5 things that Dado Banatao shared with him that prepared him to be the success that he is now. And lastly, Roland is going to come clean on how he was able to build a really good team and how he was able to surround himself with people that believe in him in this very, very fun episode. So if you're ready to learn the hustle behind the streaming app Kumu, let's begin this episode right now. Welcome to the latest episode of the Hustle Share podcast.
Yo,
there you go. And we're stoked. Before I press record, we've been going lit on this. Right? I was talking to one of the homies, and we click right away, bro.
Yeah,
so that's good.
For sure.
So without further ado, I said it in the intro. We have something really cool because he's changing the whole ball game in the streaming industry and whatnot. And you've been making bank on this. Welcome to the show, Roland Ross of Kumu.
What's up?
Roland, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So, okay, let's go straight to the jugular right here because I'm very curious.
Yes.
I mean, again, we've been clicking to feel like,
we got to introduce through, was the Style Genie on the Messenger, through Angelo, the whole thing.
Absolutely.
We love everything that you're doing.
Thank you. And
love,
I'm a big fan.
Ecosystem, right? Family.
I'm going to just try my best not to call you Carlito and the fucking shit. Like, because you call me Carlito and spit in the face of the people.
Yeah, the rainbows.
Yeah, and whatnot. So, okay, Roland, what's your hustle?
My hustle is the Philippines. Temasek did a report with Google saying that it's a $240 billion economy over the next 6 years.
Shit.
And so for us, what's crazy? A lot of times when I travel, it was when the Philippine ambassador to the U.S. had invited me to Roland. Yes.
Roland.
He was like,
Joseph.
And one of the things is my passion has always been doing nonprofit and humanitarian work. Every time I did a business win, right? So after I sold my first startup in San Francisco.
What was it called?
That was called Tracking 202. And you'll freaking think because it was a quote unquote $10 million valuation, but after stock options and taxes and everything,
You went home with
like barely nothing. So one of those types of things. And
Yeah.
but there was enough to do the humanitarian work, the community service work.
Got
And, it really got to the point where the Philippine ambassador to the U.S. was like, "Hey, why don't you start something out here? Maybe that's the best way."
And you grew up where, in LA?
So LA, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Los Angeles, born and raised. Went to school in Santa Barbara, but the thing is, during my trips to the Philippines, I think I was doing kind of like a Samuel Jackson type thing, looking for passionate Filipinos,
Right.
who wanted to do something in the Philippines,
Right.
And so my mentor, his name is Dado Banatao. He is
Dado. So you're meant. Oh my God.
Yeah,
so
so Dado was like that, and I'll tell you that story too.
Sure.
And so when Dado was like, "Yo, these are the 5 key things that you need to do before you go over there."
So what are
or
those
else you're gonna
5,
fucking get fucked.
Okay.
He didn't talk like that though. He was all
I was like, what?
No.
Dado is an OG.
Dado is like, a lot of the key things, right?
Okay.
When he sat down. Actually, I have a funny story. Actually, how he became my mentor.
Okay.
It was that whole thing, and my brother is this super famous chef, and private chef for David and Victoria Beckham.
Holy shit! Let's
the
give her
Jonas
brother a shout
Brothers.
out.
Yeah, it's Christian Navarro, HelloFresh. Actually, Oprah Winfrey shared his story on television. That type of
way.
stuff. And so because of it,
Wow.
the Philippine Development Foundation, which is Dado's
Got it.
thing, invited my brother to be the chef for this fancy ass dinner
Got
with
it.
all those Filipino American ballers who half of them,
Ballers.
that type of thing.
Yep.
And so for me, I was just helping my brother out as a server.
Wow.
Got the white gloves on, just like whatever
right.
the case may be.
Right.
And it's one of those things where you just kind of take it.
Right.
So
it's already there. You have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Right?
So I was at a dinner and we had to serve a tasting menu for 12 people.
Wow. And you were serving Filipino food.
Yeah,
Were
it was
you?
like a Filipino mix match. So my brother
Got
was
it.
taking California ingredients and
There you
then
go.
applying it to Filipino technique.
Wow.
Right. And so it's things like pulled pork, 13 hours smoked pulled pork lumpias. Right, like shit
Thanks
like
for
that.
making
Right?
me really hungry
Stuff
right
like
now.
that. So
Oh, God.
here I am, and
Right.
there's 12 people. We're in this mansion, and there's only 12 people, and they want to serve food.
Okay.
And here I am with the white glove type thing, with
Right,
the little
right.
towel on my hand, and there's Dado, and we're serving the first course. And what's amazing is somebody on that table remembered my personal story, and while they were eating, said, "Hey, Roland, don't you want to do something tech related in the Philippines?"
Wow.
And the whole table,
Just looked at you.
founders of Jerry's Grill, Goldilocks, all the
Oh,
old school,
God.
right?
Right.
All looking at me like, what? And of course, they were looking at me and judging me, right? Because I'm wearing waiter, I was literally wearing a
Yeah,
waiter
right.
thing. And then Dado looked at me and stood up and said, "Hey, let's go to the fireplace and talk."
Wow.
Yeah, man.
This feels
Yeah.
like the movie Get Out.
Yeah, dude, it was totally like that, dude. It was all these and it's funny because now that we're growing and stuff, I'm starting to it's one of those things that I've learned, right? You gotta
Right.
be mentally strong, because a lot of those people who didn't believe in you, now that when you're finding success, they go, "Oh, we believed in you the whole time. Let's work together." I was like, dude,
Fuck no.
Right?
You were shitting on me.
And that's exactly
Right.
it. And for anyone who's listening, for any entrepreneurs, the number one thing is just don't never give up, just never forget. And I'm just so grateful for that thing where Dado just really sat down. And here's the funny part was during the fundraising dinner,
Got it.
he had offered his services to be an advisor to the company.
Wow.
And these venture capitalists from everywhere wanted.
Yeah.
They were $1,000, $2,000.
shit.
I was like, oh,
it's really
shit.
Get Out. People were bidding on you.
People were bidding on Dado Banatao
Oh,
to
man.
be the advisor. And I just called my co-founders yo, I know this is we're not spending on tech, but this is going to be priceless.
Okay.
And so I took off the white gloves.
All right.
I put down the towel.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I'm on the same table as these guys.
Yeah.
And then I asked one of the rich ladies who,
Okay.
I said, "Can I borrow your paddle?"
Oh shit!
You know exactly what happened. I took that paddle. I was like 3,000, right?
Wow!
And then some of it was like 4,000. I was like, oh shit! And like my budget, I was like, dude, like this is like my whole savings. Right?
All your
I
life.
said 5,000, and then I was looking, and then I was like, who the hell is that? And then I go to and like the Red Sea of all these like stupid, rich people. I see it's my first advice. My first advisor, and I'm looking at him like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to win it for us. Right. And I was like, no, stop.
You're
stop.
bidding on yourself.
Yeah. So we ended up, getting him for like around $6,000. But dude, like, because we didn't give him any shares anyways, that's $6,000, and throwing him onto our deck as an advisor was more priceless. Dude. It was priceless.
That's your lead investor. Oh, that's your
lead
whole
advisor. Yeah.
That's your whole funding round right there.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And
right
so he sat down with us on like many different occasions. Mm-hmm. Talking about the 5 key things. Making sure that you have a technological advantage. Number 1.
Okay.
Right. Number 2, have an operating plan, because like so many people have an idea, but they don't have the plan to come in. Absolutely. And then obviously the funding, and obviously the timing, and then the 5th, which we always stress at Kumu, is the team.
The team, absolutely. And those 5 things we will have to dissect later, one by one, on how you built that and how to put it into work. Absolutely. So yeah. Other than those 5 things that he stressed out, what's it like working with Dado? Because he's like the George Washington of startups here. Everybody looks up to him. People know, and he now has Phil Dev here as well to pay it forward. Yeah. But what are the conversations that you have in terms of talking with him? Because I see his videos and he looks like all this chill guy and whatnot.
For sure.
He's gonna talk about that he was son of a farmer. But
yeah, he's well, the thing is, when you meet with him, his office is actually on Sand Hill Road with like the Sequoias, the Lightspeeds, all the big VCs there. And so when you're in that office and he's spending time with you and he recognizes, and this goes back to the original What's Your Hustle? I didn't say Kumu, the live streaming social gaming app. I said the Philippines for a specific reason, because similar to the first startup that I sold, who my advisors were coming from PayPal, I truly believe in this whole network. The network effects. There's an organization here called Endeavor that uses the same methodology.
Shout out,
and
Manny
it's just
Allen.
like, and it's just like super focused on really how do you prioritize the voices of a particular market and then grow from there. So for Dado, it was a lot of just really making sure that we had all the right relationships in place. Like, who do you need to know? This is me in LA before I put my entire life savings and moved to Manila, right? Yep. Like, okay, these are the guys at Globe. These are the guys at PLDT, blah, 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 blah. Dude. Just like make sure that, you really build the product at the current pace of the current infrastructure, so that when the infrastructure is ready, you just explode.
Correct.
Right? And so just really making sure that our timing was correct, making sure, so like one of our key funders, and it was ironic because Liza, who's the owner of Summit Media, she actually, when we first showed her the deck, she's like, "Oh, Donna's on your team," and then boom, she became our friend. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
$6,000 worth.
Exactly. And so it was like, wow. And Liza, at first we just wanted her to be an advisor, just like Dado. Yeah, that was it. We didn't ask for any money, right? Correct. And the thing about what's so amazing about Liza's vision, and with what she's focused on, which is digital transformation for the entire family business, was like, it was crazy. She just replied, "Are you guys also looking for an investor?" And I was like, "Oh shoot, are you kidding me?" And so it just kind of steamrolled over there. Right. We have a really great relationship with Liza and the whole crew. We meeting with her every week. Just met with Lance a couple days ago. So it's just been super cool. Yeah.
Right. So from that point on, so you said, okay, now they're all on. When did you decide to fully jump ship to the other side of the Pacific Ocean? Right? How did that happen? Like, all right, I got all these backers.
So that was just on the backing side or on the resource side. One of the key things that we noticed was there's a huge shift in terms of prioritizing the voices of an entire country.
Sure.
So back in 2010 in messaging, it was like the WeChat for China, Kakao for Korea, Line for Japan. So if you were trying to launch something prioritizing the voice of the Philippines now, it's already too late. You missed the messaging boat.
Yep.
And then we had a friend of a friend. They launched a company called Gojek.
Gojek,
they were focused on demand services.
Right.
Right. But then the on-demand economy from Xenia, Grab, Food Panda, Honest Bee, rest in peace. Those types of things. So it's just like those types of things.
Right.
And so we're like, oh shit. And some of our friends knew Crystal and stuff. So we're just kind of getting some advice from her regarding Viber. So that was on-demand services. And then my friend, one of my closest friends, and this is where the Chinese connection comes in, is one of my partners. Now powers real-time communications for over 2 billion mobile devices around the world.
Wow.
And so he was telling me,
Which company is it?
It's a company powered by, so basically it's come from the major powerhouse. A lot of the team came from a company called YY, which is the major live streaming company in the world. A lot of companies like Momo, multi-billion-dollar valuation. So anyway, so what he did was he helped power the first messaging social media unicorn in India. Called Hike Messenger app. Kevin, what's up, dude? The whole Bartel family. They're basically like the Ayala family of India. So the thing was just like, so that whole crew. And what happened was, India. And then something really interesting happened.
Okay.
It wasn't messaging. It wasn't on-demand services. And it wasn't like the social media. VNG Corporation in Vietnam built a unicorn prioritizing the voices of Vietnamese people around mobile gaming.
Okay.
And so we're like, holy crap. Okay. So we're looking at the Temasek report. We're like, okay, the Philippines is going to explode. 2017, 2018, not so much. So let's just keep on everything looks really good 2025.
Right.
And so as we were surveying the Philippine economy, we just decided to launch an app prioritizing the voices of Filipinos. And at first, it looked like Viber. No one gave a shit. That was actually when you met Angelo.
Yes.
So it looked like Messenger. No one gave a shit. But, we get it. That's the whole point of and here, this is also for entrepreneurs. Really, just focus on the overarching kind of thesis. For us, it was the rise of the Philippine GDP. As long as we're using hacking growth, lean startup methodology to focus on really a strong activation, retention, and acquisition plan, the product will just have the patience, right? So for us, the patience was, okay, no one gives a shit about messaging, but everyone was live streaming. Holy crap. And it was all Gen Z and millennials, which is even better, right? So it was like, okay, so everyone older than 28 didn't understand Kumu, but from 17 to 28, everyone's addicted to Kumu.
So I'm an outlier. I'm 30 and I understood. So shout out to you old people.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so it was just like, okay, cool. We're onto something. So for us, that's what it was. We're like, we see a trend. Why don't we just launch the app? The biggest thing was, okay, there's a shift, and we're not going to focus on on-demand services. We're not going to focus on messaging, social media, all that. What we're going to focus on is the fact that, unfortunately, for local Philippine TV, digital revenues are down.
It's changing.
Revenues are down. So what we did is we focused on building a TV alternative.
Got it. So basically, that's what you're disrupting here. Yeah. All those eyes that used to be fixated on a TV is now on a phone.
Exactly.
But now you give them the liberty to now choose and stream or do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, exactly. So that was one of the key things, and that was the thesis. So what we've been doing is just really building the product around 3 key areas and blah, 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 blah. Like, if you guys ever want to talk and hang out, just feel free. I just, for us, we saw that no one was really prioritizing the voices of an entire country.
Correct.
Like the way that we saw in our research. So we just decided, so I flew to San Francisco, LA, New York, Washington, D.C., flew to China, all over, finding Filipinos. Literally, I was Samuel Jackson.
Wow.
And they all decided to move to LA. Wow. So I'm not the only person. Most of our team is basically passionate Filipinos from around the world. We all gave up our jobs. We left they're even bringing family.
All in.
They went all in. So they're all here. So we're just super blessed. I love my team. They're the best. They sacrifice so much. I'm just so grateful for them. And
Okay. So Roland, let's take a quick break. And when we do come back, let's talk about those 5 factors and what it was like for you guys launching Kumu after you figured out that this is the way to go.
Yeah.
And more of that after the break. Hey, hustlers. Let's talk about something really important real quick. Something that a lot of you I know can relate to, especially if you're running a business. And I'm talking about payroll. You know how hard it is and time consuming this is, especially that you have to do it twice a month. And as a guy who's been running tech startups for over 10 years now, this is something that I did not enjoy doing at all. It's not like it's because I don't like paying my employees. No, but it's already hard looking for funding to fund for your payroll, and then it's so much more harder if you're doing this manually. Luckily, I found something that I highly recommend that you try, and it's from our friends from Payroll Hero. And here's how Payroll Hero works. They use your employee's face as your primary biometric to avoid buddy punching and ghost employees. So unless your team can figure out a way to swap each other's faces, tracking time and performance will never be your problem again. Payroll Hero is also very consumer friendly because it's also based on web and mobile, and it's also cloud-based, so you never have to worry about your clunky old biometric machines. So now you can automate time, attendance, scheduling, HRIS, and a payroll platform wrapped all in one. We have a very special bonus for you hustlers listening on the Hustle Share podcast. All you need to do is go to www.payrollhero.ph and use the promo code HustleShare to get a 60-day free trial. That's technically 4 payrolls that you can do all for free, so you can see how it works for you. And the beauty about it is there's no upfront payment needed to do this. So never worry about payroll again. With Payroll Hero, optimizing work productivity with happiness. And we are back from the break. We're still with Roland Ross of Kumu app. So
Hi.
you said so many things about how you built this and how what type of network that enabled you. But again, these are all high level stuff. You built the team and whatnot. When did you guys decide that, all right, from the messenger thing that you were trying to do before when I met you guys in Kubo to now, again, doing Kumu and now focusing on enabling all these, the Gen Zs and the young millennials to now do that. What were the big early challenges of why you did that?
So the biggest challenges for what, and from the launching perspective, planning perspective, like what specific part?
So first part is like why the challenge first would be how and why did you pivot into that type of thing, and what were the challenges?
Oh, okay. So yeah, definitely data driven. I think my biggest recommendation is hacking growth.
Got it. Growth hackers.
Sean Ellis. I think that really it breaks down into these kind of 3 methodologies around really focusing on your acquisition, the activation, retention, and then it goes into monetization. But before you do all that, there's this really critical thing, and it's called having a must-have survey.
Must-have survey.
It makes absolutely 0 sense to try to grow an app that's not must-have.
Got it.
Right? And so it's just like, shit, okay, well, And then according to them, it asks a question like, okay, at least 40% of your respondents for this to qualify as must-have has to say they're going to be very disappointed if Kumu was not in their life.
I remember this because that's where you determine that you have a product market fit.
Exactly. Yeah, because for us right now, we blazed right through the product market fit super quick.
Right.
It was now it's business model fit. We're super excited. We're going to announce like literally the
bomb.
Yeah, the big Series A injection that's gonna.
There you go. You heard it here first.
Actually, I did. So, and it's gonna be a very interesting partnership. It's gonna be basically a combination of another family.
Wow.
Just as influential as the current one.
And here's the thing. The Taipans of the Philippines. Again, I'm one of the main beneficiaries of this. The Lim family, family that acquired Chatbot PH.
Yeah.
Is again very traditional. It's like, why did they're selling rice and paper, but they don't know that the biggest catalysts, the ones that actually make this economy move, are the Taipans. I mean, out of the top 10 richest people, probably 9 or 8 of them are Chinese.
Yeah,
Chinese Filipinos.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I completely agree. I think that right now we're in an age of digital transformation, and where the Kumu team exists, it's really that really interesting mix where by adding this other family with this other big family
Sure.
and Singapore Resources, we've created a model that we can actually replicate across the entire emerging market.
Right.
But we'll go into that. But the first question was
Challenges.
must-have, right?
Right.
So for must-have, very disappointed. They have to say they're very disappointed.
Yeah.
And so for us, what it was is we're just launching a bunch of experiments, right?
Correct.
Okay, messaging, no one really cares. Community, what the heck? It's Facebook groups, I don't get it.
Right.
I think for the live streaming, it was a level of authenticity and connection that people got that was way deeper than anything that they
Right.
were seeing. So YouTube Live, IG, Facebook, because we, our engineering team focused on local Philippine bad internet, our shit is real time. Real time. There's a 20-second delay on IG, Facebook, and YouTube. So, like, if someone talks, like, I remember Alex and Tony Gonzaga, they went live on Kumu and Facebook at the same time.
Right.
And they only got, like, 50 comments on Facebook Live because of that 20-second delay. Imagine, hey, what's going on? 20 seconds later, it hits a thing. They respond 20 seconds later. That's not a real conversation.
Yeah.
Right? And so, because of...
Delayed telecast.
Yeah, it's like a delayed telecast. But for us, it was so real time. We're a way smaller platform than Facebook,
Absolutely.
even though we're trending higher than them.
Right.
But right now, we're like super small. And so it was just like, we had like over 500 comments compared to their 50.
Right.
And it's because on Facebook Live, they're just saying, pa-shout out po, pa-shout out,
Right.
notice me. Whereas in Kumu, they're able to ask like, oh, how's it going? To, in one case where it really drove home was when Jody Santa Maria went live.
Okay.
Jody was actually talking about the conversation went quickly into mental health, social anxiety, those types of things. It's not like, oh, hey, check me out,
But there's-
hashtag blessed, look at me, fucking 10 pictures in Siargao. You know, like that's the thing right now. Like, and there's a pushback right now on influencers. Right now, our creators, they're all like UP students, you know, Benilde students. Yo, what's up? Like, it's just like they go live, there's no delay, they're talking about body positivity, they're talking about, you know, the founder of the Morena movement is one of our creators, and, you know, the founder of She Talks Asia, which is a female empowerment conference someone on our team, Vicky, she co-founded with Isa Calzado, Bianca, and that whole crew. And, like, we're all talking about body positivity, body love, female empowerment, sexuality, being bullied, you know, being trans, all those types of things that you don't readily see on TV here.
True.
I'm not going to say who because, you know, we respect you guys. Those types of things. So it's just like, whoa, holy crap. And then what's crazy is to make it even more authentic is the fact that instead of creating content for likes,
Right.
you're creating content and people
For
are paying you
value.
money.
Absolutely.
And so you have these overseas Filipino millennials who don't use, they don't have no connection back home because they're too busy watching Game of Thrones and Netflix.
True.
So their connection to back home through Kumu is we have Filipino Americans, Filipino Saudi Arabians. Right now, I just checked last month, we have users spending $2,000 a month.
No.
That's way higher
These
than...
are students?
No. They're Filipino millennial engineers,
got it. Oh,
doctors,
wow.
registered nurses in Kentucky where there's not a single Filipino around. So they're spending $2,000 a month on Kumu. And
Stay in the loop.
yeah, and what happens is that it reinforces that authenticity, that engagement, and that's what was showing up in our must-have survey. Is that there's a level of authenticity from a creator standpoint because you can't fake it. You can't go on Siargao, take 20 pictures, and say hashtag stay blessed, right? No, they're going on live saying I'm depressed,
Yeah, they come clean.
and like let's talk.
Same.
You know,
Right.
And so there's the authenticity on the creator point, and then from a viewer point, you could actually give financial funds.
Right.
And that's what's been so amazing, just watching, revenue grow 100% month over month on that, to the point that when you're looking at those financial projections, if we assume that on this trajectory in the next 3 years, it looks like we're going to be the most profitable media company in the Philippines.
Absolutely. And
So-
unicorn territory is not far behind.
Yeah, the thing is about that. So we try to. One of the things is we do realize we have to say those types of terminologies to the VCs. I think for us, me and our partners and just the team, we just love, and we're gonna die for this country, right?
True.
We're just gonna do whatever it takes. So it's like
Like the Avengers.
yeah, no, and it's just like we're just gonna do whatever it takes,
Right.
and whether it's a unicorn or not, I think we're just really excited about what the implications are, not just for the Philippines, but for every emerging market country with at least 50 million internet users and a global population of at least 1 million people who send money back home.
Wow.
right? Based off of our thing, if we do this correctly in the Philippines, just like what Gojek is doing and localizing in other markets, there's 14 other countries that we can do this to.
Wow. And these are all emerging countries.
Like, so emerging market with 50 million. So, the Vietnams, the Thailands, Cambodia, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Brazil, those types of things. So, yeah.
So the future's looking bright for those, and you want to be in those type of...
just Gen Z millennials, right? So that's it. That's all we are.
So, Roland, let's take a deep dive over those 5 factors that Dado said. Basically, these are the infinity stones, and you're the soul stone, right? You said whatever it takes. So let's go.
Rexy's the soul stone. My co-founder Rexy's the soul stone. He is the nicest, most amazing, compassionate, smart,
there you go.
Loving, caring person. I'm just, I don't know. I just talk too much. So.
Yeah. So let's take a deep dive. So Dado said five factors that you did. How did you put that into work? Because it's easy to talk about it from an operation standpoint. From a high level. Yeah. Dude, making it work is a whole nother bitch, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So first one, you said operating plan. When it was you guys, what was the plan in putting it out? Is this a go-to market plan? What was it for Kumu?
Yeah, so the initial MVP was, let's get this app out.
Okay.
And let's throw it out there, and then let's see what's going on. And so MVP, we raised enough money to get it out. It looked like Filipino Viber. So according to our operating plan, that was July. So I was taking a crap June 2017 when I called everyone. I was like, "Oh my God, we should go."
Right.
I think we started coding October 2017.
Wow,
so
this is recent.
Yeah,
I remember. I saw you guys there.
Fucking fast, dude. Yeah, we're fast, man. And I'm really, and what we've learned from Singapore, we went with everyone. Golden Gate, Insignia, Monks Hill, Open Space, everyone, and widely, we're very proud of the team. Awesome. And so the thing was like. It was like, what was it? October 2017. So we launched the MVP was February 2018.
Got it.
And so when we were looking at the data, so the operating plan was, okay, cool. We had some growth metrics that we were going to hit. That was it. It was just around, a breakdown of daily active, monthly active, weekly active type users, and those types of things. And basically, it was just all about growth.
How did you hack growth? Because this is hard. I tried this out with Partyfile.
Yeah.
My peak with Partyfile until again it died drastically.
Yeah. Man, we should do stuff together, man. You're fucking dope, man. No, seriously.
Thank you.
No, seriously. Like, yeah. Well, God, hey, to my investors, I don't curse this much, but I do. I'm sorry.
No, just keep it real, bro. Ain't nobody stopping us.
Yeah, dude, man. We should definitely.
So the nightlife shit, I did that. I my peak was around 200K.
Yeah.
Until again, nightlife, the hardest part before is that you acquire users. Yeah. It's so expensive to get them acquired, and your end game basically is to get them in the club, hook them up to get in the club, get it on the guest list and whatnot. It's hard because when they get into the club, it's like dating. When you achieve their goal of getting them hooked up and they become repeat users, they won't need your shit anymore because they'll meet someone and they're gonna be hooked up. Then you're gonna always be in this constant loop of acquiring new users, which eventually will make you a one-night stand because they don't need you. So it was a really bad time, and we weren't able to figure that out. For you guys, you figured it out very quick. What were those catalysts for you?
Well, I think for us, it was really, again, so after we saw that authenticity was the activation, basically the aha moment.
Got it.
And so in Hacking Growth, it talks about once you recognize the aha moment, which drives retention, how do you design the app towards that? Right. And so there were a couple of like kind of fatty type apps out there. Like I remember there was like a quiz show called HQ, those types of things. I mean, it's not a sustainable business model, right? It's just so crazy. But we're like, hey, what if we took an unsustainable business model and actually turned it into a growth hack? Yeah. And so what we did is we launched that thing. We noticed we started growing rapidly around that time. Okay. One of the things to make it sustainable, though, was we became the first ever platform to take that technology and give it to our users. So our users started launching their own shows.
There's so many. Like I was checking it out.
It's not. Yeah, it's definitely not. Yeah. So the thing is, now we don't even like really produce the shows. It's just user-generated quiz show content. And then, and then what happened was we started noticing like, oh crap. Instead of us spending so much time with creators, people starting agencies. And so like now we have agencies on Kumu who represent the artists and then put them on. It's so nuts, dude. It's
Holy
weird.
shit.
Like I'm like, what the heck?
It
There's
took on a life on its own.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And then the big one is this sense of belonging was, see, again, that's what it is. You just look at the data, right? And then you're like, okay, look at what are the behaviors that people are doing, and then simply designing the product around those behaviors.
Got it.
And so when the sense of community, now what happens is there's these they call themselves teams, clans, families, kingdoms, nations,
whatever,
those types of things. So that started forming too with the creators, because what happened was, like, we'll notice is like an agency will be nothing but like, pardon my French, but maybe like Konyo-ish type of like creators. Hey, look at me,
Yeah,
blah,
and
blah.
it can be very exclusive and whatnot, right?
And the thing is though, I think they're amazing talent. There's like some people, they have amazing talents. They're beautiful, those types of things. But then what I noticed too was like these communities started forming as well, where it was more reflective of like Masa type stuff.
Got it.
And then they started creating content within each other, and so we saw this like amazing interplay. And then even better was the mixing of the agencies and the nations. Forming alliances.
Now it's a whole other beast.
Yeah, so it was really beautiful seeing at the end of the day, it's all about community.
Of course.
Right? And so what happened was
it thrives within the platform.
Exactly. Right. And so what we decided to do was just gamify the community. And so now we have like a quiz show where the families go against each other. Right? The community.
Family Feud.
Yeah.
Kumu.
One of our most popular contents is user generated. It's a singing show. We couldn't have thought of that, but apparently there's a lot of singing on the app, right?
Yep.
So for us, it was just really, let's just listen to what these college students are wanting. So pretty soon, we're going to be launching in the colleges after we make some big announcements.
Right.
The second thing too is just, we're just very excited. Yeah.
Awesome. Now for the second part, timing.
So data. Yeah. Timing. Oh. Yeah, we got timing wrong. I'll be completely right. I mean, we launched a messenger app too late. So we got the timing completely off.
But you pivoted and timing was right.
Yes.
On that one.
And that's the thing, guys. Like, you're going to be in a situation, right? You're going to be staring at the ceiling and you're going to be like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm running out of money. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills next month. All those types of things. And you got to remind yourself of the original thesis and the passion. You got to really find something that you're willing to die for.
Dig in deep.
Yeah, you got to dig in deep, because like, if you don't, you're going to die.
Right.
And the thing is, don't be scared of that. There's something beautiful about the fact that you only live 30,000 days, right? Because like life is sacred. And so you just
gotta make it count.
Yeah, and I had those experiences back in San Francisco before I sold my last company. It was like crap, And so when you remind yourself of like how short life is, you do have to just like look at Hack and Grow, look at those types of books, Now that's more of like a strategic. This is to all you entrepreneurs. One of the best book for CEOs. Hard Things About the Hard Things.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And the number one thing that Ben talks about is headspace. Like literally manage that space between your ears, right? Really just be super intentional about really keeping good headspace, managing your mind and those types of things, because those are the moments that is going to see the company through. When there's like, an Amazon bill is about to hit, and you don't know how you're going to freaking pay for all that stuff. Yeah. And you just freaking pivot. Well, they'll go through the different things of why you decide to pivot, but literally just look at the data, look at the activation, look at what drives the retention. Right. Yeah, those types of things. So,
now, next one would be funding. You mentioned it already, right? It's all fun and games when we have money, but how did you guys do the funding round from the get-go? Because I'm pretty sure all these people that wanted to back you up, was that right there from the get-go, or do you have to scratch and claw and there are a lot of close calls where you almost died?
Yeah, so one of the things is, Kumu is actually part of a 15-year journey of me wanting to come back to the Philippines, right? And so my initial funders were a lot of friends and family who funded me. And guys, like, if you guys fail, because it took me a bunch of failures to get to this point, right? Yes. After I sold my first company, I actually failed a bunch of times, those types of things. And what happens was, all throughout the past 15 years, when one time I tried being a missionary, one time I tried being a community service humanitarian, one time I did try to start like a penny bidding auction where the timing was off.
Okay.
Lost a lot of money. And all throughout, I never gave up on my vision on the Philippines. And so what ends up happening is if you end up helping people and you pay it forward, I helped a company exit for 10 figures.
Right.
And another company... Oh no! Sorry. There were 10-figure revenue, but they exited for 8 figures.
Hey,
right, U.S.
dude,
right, U.S. And
that's
just like
crazy.
really, I actually, even though I failed, what I did was understanding my place as a expert in advertising technology in Silicon Valley was like, I'm gonna help friends. And they exited. They were able to raise multiple rounds, $50-60 million, and that type of stuff. And then they all came and they all helped me out. They gave me. So the thing is, like, Kumu isn't just like, we just came up with money. No, it was because I just never gave up on a dream, right? I studied.
And you weren't
abroad,
selfish about it's just me first because I'm still trying to do my grind. You figure out your shit, but even if you didn't have much, but you were helping people out, eventually it came back to you.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing I want to tell you guys is because throughout that entire process, what you develop is trust.
Right.
You develop trust and reputation with people.
Absolutely.
And if people trust you and people believe in you, they will give you the money. And everyone saw that I was never going to give up on that dream. The first time I decided to die for the Philippines, it was such a funny story. I was a college student graduating from the University of California, Santa Barbara. What's up, gauchos?
There you go.
So I did not go to Berkeley, the fancy school. I did not go to UCLA, which is the second most fanciest. I went to UC Santa Barbara, which is that would be the equivalent of UP Diliman deciding to open up a campus in Boracay.
Oh, shoot.
And all the students are from CSB.
Chill. Oh, wow.
So it's just like
chill town, party town.
Oh yeah, man. It was just a university on the beach full of CSB students.
Oh, God.
And so like one of the cool things about that dream was I studied abroad in the Philippines. And I was heartbroken about what it meant to be Filipino American. They toured us through all the Filipino the bases and those types of things.
Right.
And I was with my professor who introduced me, and we were just hanging out. He's like, "Hey, man, you seem to be like really inflective. Why don't you just sit down here, hang out with us? We're having a barbecue."
Okay.
So I'm here at this golf course,
sitting
down, and I'm just thinking, and I'm like, you know what? I've never felt so home. I'm going to like give my life. And then as I was sitting there on the Pasig River, these guards come up to me, and they're presidential security guards. And I realized that this park I'm hanging out in is Malacanang Park. And the girl that I'm hanging out with, there's a boat there. She's like, "Hey, we're going to go hang out at my house." And I was all like, what the hell is going on here? And so I sat in this boat, and we're taking a river to her house. And I'm like, this is the biggest house I've ever seen. This is bigger than anything I ever saw like in Forbes or Dasma. And then one of my friends took out a 20 peso bill. She's like, "I think this is the house." And I was like, holy shit. It was it was crazy. I was I think
what the hell did you
I was hanging out with the president's daughter at the time. It was crazy.
Oh my goodness.
And it was that moment when I realized. And so that's what I'm saying. That was 2004. That was 15 years ago. And so all throughout the time, I failed. NGO didn't work. Missionary didn't work. Startup didn't work. But what happened was all throughout that time, I was helping my friends, and they were my initial funders for the company.
And from a personal point of view, before we take a break, how did you keep going? Because, I've had the same experience. Like, every failure, no matter how much you tell people that, I can just shrug it off and whatnot, it takes a toll.
No, you don't shrug it off. That's fucking bullshit. Here's the thing: you're gonna go through a depression point, guys.
Correct.
You'll go through a dark valley, right? And I think one thing that's helped me is, just definitely be spiritually connected with something much higher than you. Sure. I don't want to get all super religious. I'm a Christ follower myself, but it has to be bigger than you. There has to be a level of selflessness that takes you out of the equation. Correct. So that when you hit that dark valley, it's those people around you, your friends, your family, and you just have to get, it's a season, guys. It's a fucking season. If you're going through a winter, spring is following. If you're gonna fail, you're gonna fail hard. But as long as you understand those L's are lessons and not losses, you just stand back up and go. Because every failure that I ever did was just a classroom session. It was life working out. Because all the shit that I'm going through now, dealing with like the biggest families, dealing with the politics, dealing with like having over 1 million users, like all that type of stuff, you're going to be stretched so hard mentally that it was because of my past failures that I am ready to take it on. And if you're not, congratulations, it's preparing you for something even bigger anyways.
Correct.
You know? So
Amen.
yeah,
Holy
you know
shit,
what I
that
mean?
was
so
preach.
Yeah. Preach.
There you go. Now,
Yeah.
Roland, let's take a quick break again,
Okay.
and when we come back, let's resume the other two factors that Dado said, and what's next for you guys, and what y'all gonna do, and more of that after the break.
Effective automation is the best way for businesses to stay competitive. And having a chatbot for your business lets you easily automate and optimize sales, marketing, and customer service in the digital age. Chatbot PH will build, train, maintain, and market your chatbot across all messaging platforms. Our team uses the latest AI technologies to enable you to better serve customers 24/7, 365. Set a meeting with us today. Message us now at m.me/chatbotph.
And we're back for the final part.
Yo.
We're still with Pastor. I'm gonna call you
Thanks, man.
Reverend Roland Ross of
What's up?
Kumu.
Hey,
Okay,
hey.
so Roland, before we took the break, you dissected 3 parts already of what Dado said.
Yeah.
Now we'll resume that in part 4, the technology. Okay, you said that Kumu is faster than Facebook and whatnot, but
Yeah.
how did you build this so that it can withstand the bandwidth? Because the app game is fucking expensive, dude.
Absolutely. I
Holy
mean-
shit, the credits that have to go through. You can blaze through that
Yes,
with that type of
Amazon,
user
thank
base.
you. We
Yeah.
just celebrated one of the largest credits in Amazon history.
Really?
I think they
Wow.
recognize the fact that we are probably one of the fastest growing apps
Wow.
here. They gave us $85,000.
85 grand.
Yeah, I believe it's the biggest, one of the biggest actually that they
Yeah.
get. Because they were like, holy crap! Because we're like, we can't afford. Come on, please,
Right,
please,
right,
please,
right,
please,
right.
please. So big props to Kubo. They were actually responsible for setting
Nice.
that relationship up, and that's exactly why we're so grateful for organizations like Kubo, because we would have not gotten that $85,000 credit if it wasn't for them.
Exactly, and this is what I'm talking about. There's an ecosystem.
Much love, ecosystem.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's willing to support you. You just gotta earn it, because people are not gonna go out there and fucking spoon feed you. You gotta fucking earn your stripes. Right?
It was like, hey guys, if we don't, we might lose money while we're negotiating
Correct.
our next fundraise, right? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like, please.
Right.
So yeah.
Exactly.
no.
And you don't want, the last thing you want to do is you have so many users
Yeah.
and you have an app that's bogged down, right?
Yeah,
In terms
absolutely.
of product development for you guys, what were the hacks that you guys did to make sure that it would hold its own? Because bugs
yeah,
are
so-
fucking hard to kill.
Yeah, so from a
Especially for a
technology
mobile app.
perspective, yeah, I think like a lot of people are, and this is kind of funny, right? Like we get a lot of shit for not being like as fast as say like a Facebook or IG or some weird thing, and I go,
Right.
guys, you guys are comparing us to a multi-billion-dollar company, so that's actually dope.
Right.
Because 1% of like Facebook still makes us a unicorn.
Exactly.
So it's like, and the thing is, like people don't understand that. Like you're too busy hating on what we're doing rather than focusing on the fact of what we're going to accomplish in the next 10 years.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? A Gen Z millennial like ABS-CBN that could be replicated in 20 other emerging market countries is a
Right.
multi-billion-dollar business.
Right.
Kind of like Stan, like y'all got to get the vision proper before you kind of hate on that.
No, but
You
people
know?
like to shit on people's work if they don't understand it. And after, when you make it to, I was like, dude, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But at
So-
the end of the day, guys, for those people also who's been being shat at right now,
Yeah.
you just make sure that success is always the best revenge.
Yes,
I
yes,
swear.
yes.
Right.
And so one of the key things for us is just like get the best, right? So my head on the back end side, right? He actually grew up in Hangzhou, which is the headquarters of Alibaba. He actually developed a technology that was acquired by Alibaba,
Wow.
and his two biggest telco requiring like the people that he worked with was China Unicom and China Telecom, which just recently got the third
the third
license
telco player here, right?
And so for us, it was like, okay, cool. So, when Dado warned me about PLDT and Globe, I got someone who would be like, this is easy. I got this. You know what I mean? And so it was just
Wow.
like, that type of stuff. And then, one of my fraternity brothers, right? He led product for the first SEO company to go public. Drew, love you, man.
Shout out.
We've known each other for almost 20 years now, man. I can't believe it. And, this is the guy that I could call at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, that type of thing. We all sleep on the floor together. When we were doing our Singapore tour with all the VCs, we were all sleeping on the floor together because we barely have enough money, that type of thing, right?
Hostels, that's what you fucking stay here.
Exactly. Right. And I think that's one of the number one things, right? Is just like, on the front end, one of the realizations is it's really hard to find great back-end support. So we actually had to recruit passionate Filipino folks from China and the U.S. to help us on back end.
Wow. How do you dig through that? Because that's hard. How do you even locate that?
Dude, 15 years of losing, right? That's the thing I got to remind people, right? It's like, I exited a couple times. I advised several exits. Right. But all throughout that time, I never gave up on the vision of the Philippines. It took me 15 years to get here. I understand I'm an outsider. No one knows who the hell I am here. But the thing is, it's like, who gives a shit? You just gotta, man. You just gotta just go, right?
Right.
And it's funny, right? You approach a bunch of people, right? So I moved here, Tectonic, 2018.
Right.
That was the week I moved here. Like, no one knew who the hell I was. No one would listen to us. But all it took was one person, Liza Gokongwei. And that one person made all the difference, right? Yeah. And so for us, I think from a technology perspective, the best right now, as we speak, and you could talk to Caliber too. What up, yo? You guys are
What
dope.
up, Paul? What up, Dexter?
So the thing is, front end, UI, UX, graphic design, product management, that type of stuff. World-class people you could find. Actually, there's another quiz show here. What's up, Pedro? So those guys, they got amazing design, front end talent, those types of things. So a big shout out for what they're doing.
So they helped you out.
No. I'm just saying from a technology perspective. No, it's for me because a lot of people assume, they have a computer product. The thing is, dude, it's ecosystem. We got to support everybody, right? So it's just even though we don't work with them, what I'm trying to say is that they're able to build a world-class team from a front-end perspective. I think that there's a lot of people need to recognize that there's world-class front-end talent in the Philippines from UI, UX, front-end.
And I would echo that with the chatbot development team. For example, right? People, a lot of people are like, hey, chatbots, right? Yeah, it's easy to make a chatbot. Why do we keep shitting on each other? To be honest, we're lucky to be the market leader or the first into the market, the first mover and whatnot. That doesn't discount the fact that there's enough fish for everyone and we don't have to drag each other down.
Yeah, exactly.
Our best competitors, I'm friends with.
Yeah,
because we don't need to fucking shit on each other. I give him props in public. He gives me props in public. It lifts the whole fucking ecosystem.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, and the same thing with Xenia and those. I love what they were able to build. The best product person in my Ron, wherever you're at, over at Coins. Holy crap.
Ron Host.
What he was able to build with
Coins
here in the Philippines. Much props, right? Shit. And so if you guys need any advice with regards to product and from a technology perspective, I definitely recommend Ron. So for us though, because our network wasn't as big,
right.
And because I personally exited with several companies that were involved in China and the US,
sure.
I had to build a lot of my database and infrastructure outside, but at the same time, we are currently looking for a local CTO. But it's so technology.
A lot of good devs here, I swear.
Yeah. And I think the number one thing, guys, is when you're looking at your market and you are doing product market fit and understanding specifically what the needs are. If you do not have the understanding of the technological requirements to do it, you need to find a co-founder or somebody that can, or else you're just going to sound like another random person at a startup networking event saying that you're going to start a unicorn and you can't even get a product
proper MVP.
You know what I mean? Which is 90%, not Philippines. I'm not talking crap about the Philippines. What I mean is 90% of the entrepreneurs in the world who think they're going to start the next Uber or Grab and all they're doing is talking about their pitch deck. So I definitely highly recommend.
The lifeblood of a tech company obviously is tech, and the tech is always built by developers. So whatever happens, they are the fucking stars here. We just get a lot of the fucking attention because we're like the front man of a band.
Absolutely.
But in reality, they're like the drummers, the bassists. They fucking make the music.
Absolutely.
Right? And
so most of the team is actually engineers. We have 2 technical co-founders. So yeah.
Wow! Holy shit! That's a lot of brain power in there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Now, last part of the formula that Dado gave the team, right? Other than the tech co-founders, what's the DNA of a, what do you call your people? Kumu, the core people, the people.
The team, we're the Barkada, you know.
The
we're
Barkada.
There's
right.
going to be,
How
I
did you
already
build
know,
that?
there's going to be like 10, I already know, there's going to be 10, 12 companies coming out. I mean, we already just seeded another company. Congratulations, I can't because you're stealth, but they just, they're about to receive about $1 million to start. And then
Shout
2
out.
others. So it's just, you
Making
know,
it
that's the
rain
thing.
and
yeah, no, for
yeah.
sure. And I think that like, you know, we just love each other.
Absolutely.
You know, Angelo, I think that, you know, he's one of the most dynamic people I've ever met. So he is easily Hulk on the Kumu
easily.
team.
Right.
He is Hulk. He just goes out, just
Well, he looks,
establishes.
he's not angry all the time. He looks
No,
he's
yeah,
really
but just
chill.
well, that's the thing too. People don't understand that like everyone sees the big green monster,
Right.
But like people need to understand that Hulk is also one of the smartest people in the entire world. And if you get to know Angelo,
7 PhDs.
7 PhDs, right? So when you get to know Angelo, you get to see how smart he is, right?
Right.
Like he, you know, he helped grow one of the. It was a company called iMeme to 20 million
Yes,
users. That company
before.
sold to MySpace.
That's a Filipino.
Yeah,
right there, doing
large
that.
hospitality business.
Right.
A lot of our users go to his clubs, Black Market, Bad Decisions Wednesday.
I know.
2020.
That's how I
Yeah,
know
that's
them,
how you
bro.
know him.
That's
That's
my
why-
own life, bro. I was like, ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Brr.
Yeah, so you know stuff like that, or like you know my co-founder Rexy, right? Like, you know, here's this guy. He's I think he's the only non-UCSB. He went to Brown Ivy League school, but he was born and raised in Dumaguete, and but went to school in Rhode Island. And you know, he is probably the nicest, most compassionate, smartest person I've ever met, and
Nice.
just really, you know, and so I think for us, you know, and I also talked about Drew earlier, and I
Right.
think for the team. Most of us, we've all known each other for at least 10, 15 years now,
Wow,
right?
that's a lot.
Yeah,
of
so that's the
trust
thing.
already there.
And there you go, trust. You know, one of the biggest things, it's funny, Hyun, what's up? He's the head of Open Space
Right.
Ventures.
Right.
They are the earliest backer in Gojek.
Yep.
And he actually was the one who imparted this knowledge on me, was Poet Warrior.
Poet
is,
warrior.
Definitely a skill set for like a CEO, Poet Warrior, or like really a Harvard Review talks about it. It's the zoom in, zoom out skill set.
Okay.
The zoom in,
What does
zoom
that
out
mean?
skill set is basically, okay, I could come to this podcast, talk about the big picture vision, right? Or that DigiCon thing that I'm speaking at in a couple of weeks. It's just like talking about all this crap, but then also have the ability to just zoom in right into the company,
Mm-hmm.
right down to like, and like I'm not fucking talking crap. I'll tell you specifically what I did.
Okay.
I answered the customer service of the chat,
Right.
of the Facebook chat.
Right at the front lines.
Right in the front lines to
Right.
see exactly what people are talking about.
Exactly.
And it's that zoom in, zoom out ability to be able to zoom in, see exactly what's happening, but
Right.
at the same time, you're talking about trust. How do you have trust enough in your team to basically run it, right? You got
Mm-hmm.
Angelo. So there was a competing live stream platform founded by Astro, which is like the ABS-CBN of Malaysia.
Right.
They spent $15 million on an app to compete with us, but they were focused on Southeast Asia, right?
Okay.
Across
cool.
Southeast Asia.
Ooh, that's
Unfortunately, very similar to other startups, their burn rate was so high that they spent $15 million and ended up going out of business.
Ouch.
But what happened was they spent millions of dollars in the Philippines. And what happened was they developed amazing guys. So Ige, the country manager, Ige, what's up? What's up?
What up?
Prior to that, he headed business development over at Shopee and helped launch Shopee.
Okay.
And so we met with him, and
This is your competitor.
Yeah. But then
Okay.
they were going out of business,
Okay.
and while he was closing the office,
Right.
you know, we pitched him, and he decided to him and his leadership team and all their top talents moved over to Kumu.
Wow.
And you know, and we didn't. And what I love about them is we call them the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, exactly. I was about to.
So they're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
They're
you know?
the Asgardians.
Yeah.
They got fucked over by Thanos.
Yeah.
And now they're joining you.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
dude. So, and there have been, and that's the thing, right? And that's ecosystem.
Yes.
Right. We never actually hate it. We were competing with them head on.
Right.
With all the other social apps. And, we would actually grudgingly say like, damn, dude, they must have a lot of money being able to fund all those creators. They spent all this money on workshops, all these people, but look what ended up happening. We were always cool with them. And then the time came, they ran out of funding, and all the millions of dollars that they spent on all those creators, now
you made bank.
They all just came in. And that's something super cool. So
and it's also respect, I guess, because if you respect your competitor genuinely, you don't hate on them to the point that you're gonna fucking do black propaganda. You respect, because at the end of the day, your competitor also makes you better.
Yeah, and that's what I learned from Luke and Kenny from my first startup, Tracking 202. So when Luke and Kenny, when they had started, it was not X.com. So basically, they built a payment platform for Palm Pilot in the early 2000s.
Okay,
so
that's
they're super
OG,
like late 90s, right? And nothing was going. And then they met a guy, competing product, Elon Musk, and he had X.com.
Yep.
And so they decided, even though that they were competitors, that they were going to combine their payment processing and then leverage eBay as the thing. And so what I've learned from that experience was like, yeah, dude, like, it's ecosystem. Something crazy. There's a huge wave that's about to hit. Look at the Temasek report, guys. We're talking $72 billion economy going to $240 billion economy. There's enough room for everybody.
Exactly.
And if you look at the Philippines, if we just continue to just be passionate and cool with each other, don't be a dick, just like, let's all work together. Like, look, I already know that based off of this podcast, Ronster and I are going to do some shit together, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's just like, let's just, Kubo style, maybe Block 71 someday. And so I think that's the most important thing is trust, right? Have enough trust in your team. People like Michiko, who's amazing.
Congratulations on the engagement.
Oh, yeah. So Michiko, she's an entrepreneur herself. The whole team is actually entrepreneurs.
I met her when she was still working with... the liquor company.
Oh, no way.
Pernod Ricard.
Oh, wow.
So she used to be in the club game too. So they're that company owns Absolute.
Yeah.
And all these big liquor brands.
Wow.
And she was there. And I remember one thing she told me specifically from a meeting. Like, you know what? I'd love to work with someone like you. Because she wanted the startup game, and now look at him. She's fucking killing it in your team.
We just made her VP of operations. She's just sick, just like that. And then our head of partnerships, Vicky Herrera. If you guys don't know, the Herrera sisters, they've just been...
The Herreras, including John, dude.
Yeah. And John too, right? That's right. So the whole Herrera clan. And, Vicky... starting She Talks Asia, we felt that was super aligned with what we were trying to do.
Right.
With Bianca, Isa, Lynn, Sarah Meyer, that whole crew, and just like wow, and so it's just like we're and our head of content, right, Casey Montero, right? So like, what we loved about Casey was that
guy's funny as hell.
Yeah, and now that the product was ready, now that the product was ready, it's like, okay, now we're ready to start engaging, right? So like today we had JR. Tomorrow I think we have Joyce Pring going on. Christine Reyes actually hosted some of our shows, that type of stuff. So it's just like,
crazy.
And all of that came because of Casey. So it's just like, for us, we do literally. It's funny because I've heard you use the Avengers in a couple of previous podcasts,
right.
And so for us, we actually do take it literally. We will literally look at everyone. We're like, okay, Angelo's Hulk. This person's that person that. They're Guardians of the Galaxy.
Who are you?
I don't know,
Tony Stark?
man. No, people say that.
Or are you Cap?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not. No, that's Rexy. Rexy is Cap.
Okay. Which
I
Cap?
think
Marvel or
Captain America.
Okay, got it.
We're about to announce Marvel.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
there
when
you go.
we announce Marvel in about a couple of weeks,
man.
hell, the whole Philippines about to.
Shit's about to blow.
Yeah, everyone's about to. Yeah, that I can't believe it's happening. By the way.
Oh man.
But for me, maybe closer to I want to be more behind the scenes,
cool.
Which is more of like a Samuel type.
You're Nick Fury.
Yeah. I would prefer to be that. But yeah, I think that we do have a lot of... Everyone can have their own movie, and Kumu is the Avengers thing. That's what we always joke about. Because I know everyone's endgame. I know which company that they want to start after Kumu. I know what everyone wants to do. And so whether it's a combination of like PayPal Mafia / Kumu Barkada meets Avengers, we're very, very, very excited about some of the people that we're going to onboard. So,
got it. So last question, Roland. How do you make sure that it's all cohesive? Because these are big guns fucking with each other. Right?
Yeah.
They're not just a bunch of whatever is trying to do that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ego that you have to manage as well.
I think,
how do you make it work?
I think the biggest thing, and this is something that I've just kind of learned throughout, is you have to come up with a vision so big that everyone can take ownership of something just as big. Like, for example, we came out with a technology that is so big that one of these entrepreneurs can take it on and it could be a multi-million-dollar business, right?
Got it.
And so, for example, Angelo, who has arguably the most responsibility.
Yep.
He has entrepreneurs under him because he has envisioned some pretty big projects. So it comes from a vision perspective, and that's why team is so important too, is because they have to have that right ability of like operational capacity or whatnot, and to be able to execute. And so for me, it's really in being able, how do you cast a vision so big that there's enough room that and again, back to the hard things, that when I have my monthly one-on-ones with my managers, that they are taking ownership of something that's stretching them, right? Right? And so when they're taking ownership that's stretching them, they have no time to think about what the other entrepreneur...
Yeah.
Dude, Michiko has no time to think about what the hell Casey Montero... Casey is trying to... he's like the Corey Vidanis of Kumu right now, right? So like he has no time to be
worry about what other people are doing, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you add it up, it all points down to that single North Star that you divine.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely
correct. Absolutely. So again, Roland, unfortunately, as much as we want to do it, we've hit the 59-minute.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
hey,
that was
what's
quick,
up?
right?
Yeah.
So again, real quick, just invite people over to join Kumu real quick. And what should they expect moving forward in the very near future? Because you guys have a lot of big guns coming up.
Yeah, actually, so we're going to announce 2 deals. One that will help us capture the attention span of Gen Z millennial Filipinos across, right? Overseas Filipinos, Filipinos in the province, and Filipinos in Metro Manila. So that's one, getting to around 20 million users from our current million.
Wow.
And then with the help of Singapore, rinse and repeating. So if Kumu is Kumusta in the Philippines, then what we launch in Thailand will be Sawa, short for Sawadika. And so, we're planning on launching in about like 15 to 16 different countries.
Wow, that is crazy. And
Yeah.
I wish you all the luck. And I know you
thanks,
can
man.
do it. Just all
thanks,
day.
man.
All
Thank
day.
you, man. I
can get the
appreciate
sense.
it.
So again,
Yeah.
guys, if you want to check it out, guys, where do they go if you want to check out Kumu?
Just go to kumu.ph. And depending on what mobile device, you'll get redirected to the proper store.
Sounds good. Thank you again.
Yes,
Roland.
thank
Appreciate
you.
It.
Awesome,
All right,
man.
and guys, if you guys like that episode, please don't forget to show us some love. We need some love too on this side.
Hustle share.
Yes,
Hustle share.
follow us, give us a like, give us a comment and recommendation in the whatever podcast app you're playing this on, and then chat with our bot so that we can also get your feedback on m.me/hustleshare, powered by ChatbotPH. And again, thanks, Roland.
Yes, thank you.
And I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Awesome.
Peace.
All right.